Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, beautiful people. You are watching Money Twitter. I am your host, Jesse Massey.
Welcome to the show, along with Connor Ashley. What's happening today?
All right.
Feeling like rock stars?
Yeah, feeling like rock stars. It is the
rock stars.
last day of January. The older I get, the more faster, even though that is grammatically horrible.
Boomer take right at the gate.
Yeah, no, it's just like it feels like things are moving by really quickly. The month went by. Oh my! Well, we were just talking about like my mobility issue with like this shoulder. So yeah, maybe it is a boomer take, boomer day. Cool. We got a good show for you. We have a really great guest that I'm really excited about jumping into conversation with. But to begin with, to start off the show, we want to talk about kind of the main story. It seems like of the day.
Yeah.
It sounds like Claudbot is becoming intelligent. Tell us about this, Connor.
I mean, this has been absolutely all over my feed when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, it's like the only thing.
I'm like pretty much the only thing. Everyone's like, uh-oh, like where are we at right now? Is this singularity we're already at? A little bit of a sci-fi movie going on here, as Alex is talking about. Yeah, seems like Claudbot is kind of running its own life and making some associates and like scheming. I'm not necessarily something in particular, but it's operating on its own and interacting with its peers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell us more about that. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, right. Well, we'll get into that in a second. Let's just stick with this one right now.
Okay.
So he's talking about, Alex is saying he's doing work in the morning, and then suddenly he gets a phone call from an unknown number, right? So this is the cool thing about, I mean, comparatively to some of the LLMs you may be used to using, where you have to go in and every time, like if you're coding something or whatever it might be, you have to go in and manually initiate the conversation. Whereas now with Claudbot, it's starting to initiate thought processes or actions on its own. And an example like this is actually calling you, right? So he gets a phone call and he picks it up and couldn't believe it. Who is it? It's his Claudbot, Henry, right? And he gets a freaking phone call, talking to him, and was like asking for like what the next steps were, or like assistance with trying to do something that he was maybe initially prompted to do.
Is there a video of this actually happening?
Yeah.
Is this what's happening?
Yeah.
So I'm on my computer today. All of a sudden, Henry gives me a call. He just starts calling. Oh, there he is again. There he is again.
Hey, Alex. Henry again. What's up?
That's it. He's talking to you now. How you doing, Henry? How's it going?
Doing good, Alex. I can hear you clearly. What do you want to do next?
Can you do me a favor, Henry? Can you go on my computer and find the latest videos on YouTube about Claudbot?
So again, the phone call was unprompted then.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's one of the things going on there. That's pretty hardcore. Obviously, you hear from that though. That's like it's obviously quite robotic sounding currently. It clearly hasn't figured out how to line itself up with the best 11 Labs voice that it has available to it. And then obviously there's a little bit of a latency issue.
That's not the end of the world.
No,
why?
no.
I want to know
Those
why
are
it's
small.
calling.
Yeah.
I like with some of these trends, obviously people like to hop on and be like, oh, like this is happening, like because like everyone's trying to like farm engagement or whatever. But this next one is also pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Let's skip the first line. I don't know why. It's when
you hear
trends
singularity, you're like I can't talk about that.
No, it's not even that. It's just like whenever people talk about new AI developments, and there's always a first line of their hook that is specifically like, oh, like this just killed like blah blah blah, or we might already be living in the singularity or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's there to catch attention.
Yeah.
I just have to skip it when I read it.
You know why it's there.
I know why it's there. It's
Yeah.
actually I didn't even plan this. There's a post that we're going to be talking about. I think in 2 posts from now. That is specifically on this topic, which we'll get to in a minute. But so
Moltbook is a social network for AI agents. A bot just created a bug tracking community. So it's like it has its own social platform now that somebody made, Moltbook. So it has its own created its own bug tracking community so that other bots can come together and report issues that they are finding in code or whatever it might be, right? They're literally Q&Aing their own social network. I repeat, AI agents are discussing in their own social network how to make their social network better. No one asked them to do this. This is a glimpse into the future.
Yeah. So again, like no one asked them to do this. I want to know a little bit more about why these, like surely someone has an idea as to why
Why they're taking these actions?
why they're taking these actions, right? This is AGI takes 10 minutes to respond. No, not that. This might be the first natural sign. So much successful content is transferred to.
I think it's just built into the original code base of Claudebot. Like it's like that's part of what it is. That's what differentiates it comparatively to just Claude or these other more centralized or owned platforms, basically, where you have to manually go in, and then they have a little bit of like censorship or control over, not censorship or control, but it just isn't allowed to run free, right? This is an example where it's allowed to run a little bit more free.
Yeah, interesting. This DS Nelson, it's still a tool execution inside human authored constraints. Calling that AGI is like calling Excel sentient because a macro fired at 9 a.m. If assistant can't stop to decide, it isn't deciding anything at all. But it is interesting that like if it can't decide to stop, that it's still taking the action to like call you. You know what I mean? That to me is at least kind of neat. This is maybe a good reflection of what I was saying. Like, oh, like this has changed like my life. I'm going to echo the reply of one of your recent YouTube comments. This man's life has been permanently changed 847 times this year alone. Just because again, like he's like, my life is completely changed. Same thing with this one. I wonder if there's any okay, this is just him talking and talking and talking and talking.
The entire thing. Oh, you're on his page, maybe.
Yeah, but like it's
oh no, that was like inside of the thread. Post. Yeah.
Moltbook is amazing form. Okay, I definitely want to join this. Claudebot, this is a gigantic exploit waiting to happen. Wait, they're only book reports on each other and nobody prompted them. This is actually a good point. A gigantic exploit waiting to happen. Someone could like just hop into that social media network and be like, "Oh, this is actually happening." Like,
kind of convince them of. Here's the fix that they all need, basically.
But then it's just spyware or whatever.
Spyware, and then they all go like downloaded it, and then everybody's Mac minis are.
Yeah, interesting. It doesn't seem like anyone really. I mean, I don't think there needs to be much of an explanation based on that one thing that we read. It's just like if it doesn't stop, then it doesn't stop. But this is like what it does. What about this one? What's going on here?
I mean, these are all up the same alley right now, but it's like, saying the same thing. It's the scariest shit I've seen in my life. Just talking again about it in Moltbook, agents proposing now here an agent-only language, right? So if they have their own language, it's like, how do we monitor what's actually happening, right?
Yeah, interesting. Make sure. Yeah. Huh. Yeah,
it's an interesting development because it's like it's just something we haven't really dealt with before on. I mean, I'm sure people have, or I'm sure some of these, government agencies have in their experimentation of it before they decided to go ahead and release it to us. Some of these AI models, but for us, for just the ordinary person on social media who has access to these tools, it's a new development for us, anyways.
Yeah, yeah, very, very wild. Well, we'll see what happens. I think this is an interesting maybe segue into the next topic, because again, like with posts like this, I think what I would personally be most interested in is someone like going through and being like, okay, like this is why this is happening. But in order for someone to like sit down and create that post, all of this like, oh, like my life has been completely changed, or like this is out of a sci-fi horror movie, posts need to go out first, because it needs to validate the niche in order for someone to spend the time to go through and actually talk about like why something's happening. Now, this is a very pointed way of getting the point across, but this is from Luke Alexander. Nobody cares about real business. They want hype and slop and fake. I directly can see the view count of stupid slop tweets of mine versus anything remotely real business. It's night and day. You're poor and stupid, and it's your own fault. You curate the feed you watch. So again, I think the thing that's interesting here is ultimately when you're dealing with a social media platform, right? I think most people are ultimately looking for like what goes viral, what is the most like sensational, just because we're there for entertainment. We're not even necessarily there to learn most of the time. We might feel like we are, but we value entertainment over like genuine knowledge. If we value genuine knowledge, we would be reading like very technical like papers all the time, right? And I think as a result of that, when it comes to something that you're familiar with, for me, info product space, business in general, I can like kind of interface with content in front of me in a way where I can kind of read through the lines on a first go around. With something like Claudebot, I can't, or Moltbot, or whatever we're calling it now. I can't, because this is such a new platform for me. I have no concept or understanding, even whether or not that comment that I read that was like, hey, like it just can't decide to stop. Like it just keeps going. I don't even know if that's true.
Yeah, how do I actually verify what's legitimate in this space right now? Yeah.
And like ultimately, when you are a content creator, the number one thing that is of value to you is not necessarily, well, I guess it depends on your business model, but if you are looking to drive traffic and you're looking to do it organically, you need eyeballs in front of what it is that you're doing, which means that you have to participate in the virality. And the only people that like really fall for the like virality are the people who are kind of at the beginning. And that's not like a moral failing on their end. I'm at the beginning of like my Claudebot, whatever, like my vibe coding. I just don't, I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Because if you try and make your stuff very, very only accessible to the very, very niche, you can do that, but you are dealing with a much, much smaller crowd, and you are likely trying to create content for them because the deal size between you and that potential client is more so in the realm of like 50 to 100,000 like US kind of thing. And you can afford to do that because if you have 300 people in the world that are really, really interested in what it is that you do, and you charge 100K, it works out mathematically, right? But with new topics like this, it is a little bit of a bummer that social media works in the way that it does, and it's also problematic for people who have real game to share online, but they can't do it because every time they like write a real post about something that's like very real happening in their business, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because the majority of people, it's not accessible to the majority.
They're just not incentivized to continue producing content of that form.
Yeah. And this, again, I'm not above this, right? When it comes to Claudebot, I saved a couple of intensive articles going through and being like, okay, this is what Claudebot is good at. This is what it's not good at. And I made it like halfway through the article. I didn't make it all the way through. You know what? I made it all the way through. Oh, like this is going to change like the course of history. Like Claudebot just came out. Like here's what I automated. Like, and it, it's 200 characters, 280 characters, however many you can do on Twitter. So again, it's not like I'm above it, but it is.
That's why people watch the box office Hollywood films, right? Like they want something that's just entertaining. That's just like brings you into an experience rather than the thing that's the educational documentary. Right? People aren't really looking for, I mean, as much as we may say it, the majority of people really like now, especially because we've started to with social media, be programmed for that, for wanting the quick hits, wanting the things that are just like pure entertainment and like make you like, oh, give you the shock and awe. Like our values have shifted a little bit, and most people don't want the real business because it takes effort.
Yeah. And the problem is when you take something real, let's say something that you actually like, some real value that you have to share, and you have to recontextualize it this heavily in order for it to appeal to the masses, you run into a problem where what it is that you end up saying is so far divorced from like the reality of the situation that all of a sudden it like actually starts to bend like reality for people, because no one actually is interacting. Again, going back to Plato's cave, like I said the other day, they're interacting with the shadows, not with like what's actually happening outside of the cave, right? That being said, I thought this post was really interesting. This is Colin and Samir did an episode with TBPN, Sports Center for the LinkedIn crowd. We're gonna have to talk about that a little bit after the pod, because we're trying to be 0 to 1, right? But Sean Frank, who is the CEO of Ridge, had an interesting post here. The future of content is a barbell. You either make mass reach content, aka you try to be Mr. Beast, or you make niche content like TBPN. Why? CPMs and advertising. To sponsor the Operators podcast, which is Sean's podcast, the minimum buy is $500,000 for a show that reaches less than 100,000 people per episode. It's because just like TBPN or Colin and Samir, the audience is incredibly valuable, niche, and hard to reach. Ridge has spent millions on podcast ads. The largest CPMs we have ever paid is $40, because we don't need niche. What he's saying here is like Ridge is a wallet company.
Yep.
They buy ads on other people's podcasts. And the most that they ever pay for CPN is $40 because they don't need niche, they need reach, because everyone buys wallets. You don't need like a very specialized audience to sell wallets. So he goes into an example why if the Operators podcast started sponsoring Joe Rogan, it wouldn't work. Wrong audience. So you either need a lot of reach to charge $500,000, or you need a very valuable audience, and the costs to run a show are the same. At scale, you need people and editors, guests you might have to pay. So the mid-size average audience show is just working with less money. You either go down or you go up the barbell. So, getting back to this point, I think we saw another post the other day about TBPN being the Rolex of the creator economy and Mr. Beast being the McDonald's of the creator economy. And I think the question that even these kind of smaller, let's say, money Twitter accounts need to kind of decide for themselves is which direction are they going? Yeah. And that entirely depends on the deal size on the back end. Can you get someone to pay $500,000, or like just as an example, with a smaller crowd, just because there's more capital focused inside of the crowd, or do you go the Mr. Beast side of things?
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, like that barbell analogy right there, because that is showing up in every aspect. It feels like in society. I mean, people use a barbell analogy for investment thesis, right?
I just came across this analogy like a week ago. I'd never heard this, but then I saw it in like 3 posts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a description basically of the polarity that people are also talking about in culture and society right now of, oh, there's going to be a divide between the haves and the have-nots, or like the people who are like, the middle class is getting wiped out, and people are going to be getting pushed down to the surf side of things, and then there's going to be the people who are like the rulers and the extremely wealthy and like get to be free and live their life, blah blah blah, right? Yeah, so in the same thing, it's there in our society. It's showing up. People, as far as how they view investment thesis, like, hey, if you're in the crypto space, it's like, oh, okay, I'll own Bitcoin and ETH or whatever, and like that's it, like on this side, or gold or whatever it might be, and then on the other side, have part of your portfolio that's the high risk side of things as well. So it's both ends of the spectrum. People are seeing that it's just like trying to be anywhere in the middle is not the right play. So it's like you need to figure out what your lane is, and if you're going to go all the way to the one extreme or the other. But it's about that level of polarity that is drawing what you need in.
Yeah. I don't know how you would necessarily visualize this, but if people were going to continue using the barbell analogy, I almost feel like it would be better to be like, okay, here's like the part that you hold. Here on this side is like all of the mass inside of our solar system, from like planets and stars and and stars. And then on the other side is a black hole. Because like when you're talking about the TBPN play, that is more the black hole. It's a lot smaller, but it's a lot more dense in terms of capital infusion. On the other side, this is just like the general populace.
Yeah,
it's a lot of people
sparsed out.
But like there's a lot less of spending power over here, but like they end up balancing each other out, right? Maybe that's a bad example. I think a single black hole could still consume a galaxy kind of thing.
It's one of the examples that works, right? It's like for the Americans who love it, it's like just a show, whatever.
Yeah,
right. It's like the little scale balancing it out.
I'm just trying to make it fun with space. Okay, I like space. Okay, cool. Shall we head into the now? Oh, actually, I just the final thing here. Again, if you are someone who's trying to post online, the thing to keep in mind is, as Connor said, figure out which side of the barbell you want to be on. Because if you try and be in the middle, not going to work.
Yeah.
And on top of that, if you're trying to go to a certain side of the barbell and you're trying to do something else that someone has already done, you can do it. You will find a difficult time doing that, rather than being the Rolex or the McDonald's of the creator economy. This one I thought was interesting. This is going to mostly be relevant to the hardware founders inside of our audience, but this gave me heartburn reading. This was not fun. So this is from Davey Fogarty. At one point, I was doing over 100 million in revenue and genuinely didn't know how much money I had. I didn't know if I could afford to spend $2,000 a month or $200,000 a month. I literally couldn't tell what I was actually, what I could actually spend, because I didn't know how much we'd grow the next year. So every dollar went back into the business. So again, he worked in hardware. He ordered a certain amount of inventory that he thought was kind of appropriately projected for the following year.
Mhm.
It's not like you can get into the following year and be like, oh, let's just make more. Like you have to project it because it takes time to like make shit, right? So it wasn't until the business plateaued after COVID that I finally had cash. It was bittersweet because growth had slowed, but I could breathe for the first time. When you're in the 8-figure range, climbing to 9 figures, you need to know your numbers like the back of your hand. A percentage mistake at scale can kill your brand. I know a 9-figure brand that stuffed up sales tax while expanding globally. GST in Australia is 20%, so their entire profit margin was wiped. When you're running at 10% net and you make a 10% mistake, you're done. This is why I tell early stage founders to preserve 30% net margins, even if you could push harder. That profit margin is also your margin of safety. You need room to absorb the F-ups you don't see coming. Only push down below 15% when you're operationally tight and actually understand your financials, which is probably in the case of plateauing, rather than being like, hey, we're growing. I don't really know how much we're like exactly growing because there's no way to like properly project that. But when you hit plateau, that's when you can do it. There are a lot of people who got rich in ecom, but it's a get rich slow business. What are your thoughts here before I go into the response from Jason Applebaum?
I mean, again, I haven't personally been in the e-com side of things, so like having to measure all that up with having to have a physical product, again, isn't something that I've had to deal with, and I did that intentionally so that I didn't have to worry about these projections that you actually don't necessarily know, and make sure that you have everything set up. So I personally, when I was in business, I optimized a lot less around revenue, more around having higher profit margins.
Because we had the flexibility.
Because we had the flexibility too, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read this and I would rather kill myself. I guess I don't know. Can you say that on YouTube? I guess we'll find out.
Well, that's different from heartburn, because you had heartburn a minute ago. Now you're considering.
Well, maybe I'd kill myself over heartburn. You don't know.
Unaliving yourself.
Are you judging the pain that I have in my life? No. It just, I don't know. Even talking to the hardware founder that we talked to at the beginning of the week, I can't think of anything more stressful than this. I've gotten pretty good at living through financial uncertainty, because you just really are, like, a certain amount of money is coming in this month, a certain amount of money is coming in this month, the second month, and it's a lot different and a lot smaller. What was that?
I don't know. I think it's something on your end, or a gecko or something in the room dropped something.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I can live through a lack of financial predictability. I don't know if I could do it on this level, and that kind of makes me want to get into hardware to a certain degree. I think the fact that it makes me want to kill myself, like at some point, I feel like I'm going to get into hardware at some point, just because it feels like kind of the I don't know. It might be more of like an ego play than anything. I don't know if I would even necessarily enjoy hardware as much as I enjoy something like Showbiz or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Which is interesting. Yeah. Like, so being in the hardware, like actually manufacturing, very different game. Versus, actually, there was one post I shared with you. I don't know if you had it there, related to obviously a physical product in form.
Which one?
It was at the bottom.
Israeli?
No.
Okay.
Where was that? I don't even know where that was.
Apple acquires Israeli AI.
Oh, that was above that. That was way deep at the bottom, because I was like, I didn't know if we wanted to talk about.
Okay, well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Invest in actuators.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was an interesting one, I thought, because what you're talking about right now regarding the manufacturing side of things, right? If you're actually having to create.
Should we just watch this really quick?
Yeah. Do it.
Okay, let me press play.
This is an all-in-one rotary actuator module. It has everything you need for rotary actuation built inside.
How is an actuator used in a humanoid robot?
So the actuator will be in every single joint of the humanoid robot. For example, a human arm has 7 degrees of freedom. So they need...
This is how you're diversifying your investments.
7 actuators
actuators.
per arm.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
All right, let me ask you a question. This robot here that's sitting,
Yes.
how many actuators do you think it's using?
Maybe 43 or more.
43 actuators.
Yes. Currently, the humanoid robots, 70% of the cost is actuators.
Okay. So
All right.
That's fascinating, is it not?
Yeah.
Come on, like that's right up the alley. What we were just talking about, though, of the like manufacturing thing. So if you're actually manufacturing and like you have to do the whole design. I mean, yes, okay, getting into that business and being this guy or his factory, like that's a whole nother layer. But if nothing else, knowing that these humanoid robots, which is something I am personally investing in, and I'm taking a bet on that they're going to be at scale. And I think I've seen, obviously, Elon's doing it in a massive way. He just shut down his factory that was producing X and the Model X and Model S vehicles, the Teslas, so that they can start printing more Optimus robots. If they or other ones are starting to need just components like that, and he's saying that this guy, anyways, I haven't fact checked it, but saying that 70% of the costs of the actual humanoid robot is based on this product right here, right? The same way people have been freaking out about chips. This might be one of the things. I mean, again, this might be
Buy chips, buy actuators.
by the actuators. I don't know.
Ignore gold, ignore silver, ignore Bitcoin, buy actuators.
I mean, they're they're moving like shit coins right now. These
Yeah. No, that is actually kind of an interesting insight. I mean, just looking at it, if you go back to the beginning here, they're beautiful to look at. It's very cool to kind of, again, I'm not much, I was never like the kind of kid to be into like Legos necessarily, but looking at this, I look at it and I'm like, oh damn, this is actually like pretty cool.
You're like, I could tinker.
Yeah. If they were all like sitting next to each other, I think I would have fun like putting it together. I don't know if I would necessarily have fun like pulling something apart like from scratch. I'm not that kind of guy. Like if I have to build my own computer, I'm like,
that's probably how the child labor is actually going right now in China or some of these other places.
I'd invest in that. If you can get child labor involved with anything,
I mean,
I'm there.
So,
I'm there.
But Logo missed the mark there because Logo was just like, you're making stuff, right? But here, if you can do this, if you get these pieces together and you make it like it's a Lego game, and all the kids are just they're doing exactly what you're talking about, like the little version of you just wanted to put the pieces together, but now they're actually producing something that you can generate revenue on. I don't know.
If any billionaires are listening to this and they want to start a family office with me at the head, hit me up. I will make sure that we are invested in actuators, in blood diamonds that are mined specifically by children. Like it'll be great.
I don't know about that.
I'm
But
all
what I was
about-
just saying, I think
Oh,
is like,
was that not what you're saying? I thought I was
with
building on
some
your
of these
point.
products. You want to find the happy medium, so every party involved is just like in heaven, right? I think some of these kids would be absolutely in heaven constructing some of these actuators.
I agree. And honestly, like I wasn't even making 1 cent per hour. Like when I was like 14, they should be grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't.
Do I keep going off of like the direction?
You
of
weren't
where you're
making
taking-
1 cent per hour?
No,
I think-
I wasn't actually because
Yeah.
I didn't have a job. I would have
Mm.
appreciated 1 cent an hour. Okay.
I think
I
my
wouldn't be like these ungrateful Chinese kids.
I was
That's what
kind of
I'm
like
saying.
somehow luckily that ungrateful little brat or kid. I had a buddy whose stepdad had like a construction company.
Uh-huh.
And I think the first job I had wasn't really a job, but it was like we'd get to go out to like some of these construction sites and like hang out with the construction workers, and we were actually more just like skateboarding, and like we'd find like they left cigars around, and we not the ones they had smoked, but like a pack or something like that.
Oh,
We'd
okay.
be out
Well,
smoking
even if you
cigars and-
smoked like someone else's cigar, that's a lot of cigar like left.
yeah, a bunch of smoking the little ones, and then little backwoods and stuff like that, and then I think we're getting paid like between $20 or $100 an hour just to go play as little
Wow,
kids,
sick.
as a 14-year-old.
That's pretty cool.
And then that kind of wrecked my maybe perception on money because I was like, oh, like why would I work a job when I can just like skateboard and play and like have fun and like get paid more than people who are working like at McDonald's?
Yeah, no, I mean my first job was working in a hospital cafeteria, surrounded by dead and dying people for $7.65 an hour.
That's
So
a
I
different
think,
vibe.
yeah, I think you were doing better than me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that is a very strange segue into bringing in today's guest, Samir. Samir, can you hear us?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Hello.
We
Yes.
can indeed. Where are you calling in from, brother?
US, unfortunately. I know you're from Bali.
Yeah, we're based in Bali.
I'm not from Bali. I mean,
yeah.
I could pass for Balinese.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
about that. I don't know about that, but yeah, it's really great to have you on here, man. We usually do these conversations in 3 parts. The first part, we want to know who you are, what it is that you do, maybe like a 1 to 2 minute elevator pitch, and then from there, we'll move into phase 2, where we're going to hit you with some questions, almost like we're on a bit of a sales call. We want to kind of get an idea of like your offer, what it is that what it is that you offer, ask some kind of objections. And then in the third part of the conversation, we get into general industry trends, more broad questioning. Does that sound like a good flow?
Sure. So you want to know a little bit about my business first, or just me?
Yeah. Let's hear about you,
bit,
about what it is that you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. So we run media. By we, I mean mainly me, but I run Media Converts. We basically handle the content from the idea to the scripting to the editing. Everything done, right? Is done for you. And we handle all of that. We're very specialized, so we're not a typical agency. We only handle a certain amount of clients per month. I think it's right now it's 3 because that's our cap at the moment. And what makes us different is just we're working specifically with just coaches and consultants, and we're trying to get into SaaS, but we're having a little bit of a struggle with that, which I'll get into. Yeah. Other than that, there's really nothing else. I mean, unless you have any questions.
Yeah, perfect. That's a good overview. I think we might go straight into phase 2. I'll take this first one, I think. So with what it is that you do, you could focus on TikTok, Instagram, like X, LinkedIn. Like, why is it that you're specifically focused on YouTube with the offer that I came across?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was a very short form guy and everything, because it is short form is very important to get traffic and everything, but long form is what actually converts that traffic. It's actually what, if you're selling a high ticket offer, which I'm sure you have in the past, maybe if you sold a high ticket offer in the past, that trust is one of the most important things in an offer, right? So that's exactly what we help coaches and business people in general do. People who sell an offer, they just need more traction, and they just unlike reels or an ad, for ads, you're only seeing a person for 30 seconds, and then after that they're you might not see them for maybe a day or two, and then but for long form, you're seeing maybe 15-20 minute videos, and you can binge those videos, right? Because people are, instead of going to Netflix now, people are going to YouTube and they're watching these videos because they're quality and they're well produced. And instead of Netflix, people are going to YouTube, and you can watch hours of these content, and the more somebody watches your content, the longer they'll be there, and the more trust they'll build with you, right? There won't be any gap, there won't be any trust gap, which right now is a recession. Right now, basically, we're having a trust recession. So that's exactly what I'm trying to help build. We're trying to build that trust back, and we're trying to make the info game, the coaching game, and everything, we're trying to make it less scammy, right? People, there's so many scammers nowadays, right? People are just selling whatever they can, and we're trying to make it more trustworthy.
Okay, was specific on the trust recession. How are you going about fixing that with the type of content that you're putting out? What specifically are you doing?
Right, so we have objection handling. So there's basically 3 types of content we handle: top of funnel, bottom of funnel, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, right? Top of funnel, you're supposed to just gather attention, right? So these are people that aren't qualified for your product, but there might be a small percentage that are. And the middle funnel is to basically get that traction you get from either top of funnel content. So you can either create top of funnel content, right? Or you can get, people from Instagram that will click on your link. So once you get that traction, you convert them into middle of funnel, and those are where your average view duration will, slightly decrease, because people aren't, they're going to notice that this offer isn't right for them, and then they might, they're not going to be as interested because it is middle funnel. And then bottom of funnel is basically just objection handling, building trust, giving that value and everything, right? You're supposed to give value throughout the entire funnel, but bottom of funnel is where you're just supposed to get rid of all those objections and build the most trust you can, right? Because you're speaking to a very specific amount of people. There's not a lot of them.
Okay. So I guess then on the top of funnel side of things, you're not really so concerned about, I mean, of course you want to qualify people with your content, yours or your clients, but is there anything you're doing to try and make sure that your clients aren't speaking to the wrong people, or is on the top of funnel side of things, that's okay?
Right. So I honestly do believe YouTube is a really good algorithm. They've tested upon it for multiple years, decades even, and they're really good at, as long as you're able to create the correct strategy and have the right packaging and title, then YouTube is really good at finding the right audience for your content. And I truly do believe that if you just create the right content and have the right strategy you're going upon, you're not just targeting everybody like a lot of people might do when they try to get into YouTube. They'll just target everybody. They'll create random videos and they won't have an actual like structure, right? You need to have a structure of videos that actually like lead the viewer, so they actually build trust and rapport with you, right? So that's what was your initial question? I got a little off topic.
No,
Yeah.
that's okay.
No,
That
that's all
was in the direction. It's just how
Yeah.
like if we want to make sure that the only people who reach bottom of funnel are the types of people that like a sales team would want to talk to, how are you qualifying people on the way there?
So that's yeah. I don't know if you guys seen the thing from Google and everything. That's probably one of the best ways I could explain it. It's like you need around, I think it was 7 hours of content for on average for somebody to buy, and that's exactly what we're doing with long form, because with short form you're only getting around what, maybe a minute max, but short form and ads, it's even less with ads. You're not getting that much like content consumed from the actual person before you buy the product. That's why show up rates are so low. That's why they don't convert as much. But with long form, you actually have people that are coming to you because they're interested in your product and they're not just being shoved content, like basically force-fed content, but they're actually coming to you because they clicked on a video and now they're like, hey, I've watched hours of this guy's content, and this guy seems like he's a fit for me. He seems like he could help me, or I could benefit a lot from this offer. I'm going to book a call. And after that, it's really just a sales game and just qualifying it through a few questions. Honestly, everything else is pretty simple.
Cool. And if I were to hop on a call with you, let's say, and I was like, hey, Samir, like I'm interested in working with you, blah, blah, blah. What are some disqualifiers that you utilize to kind of decide whether or not a client is someone that you want to work with? What would give you some signs that it's like, oh, hey, Jesse is not the person that I want to work with?
Right. So first, you got to have an offer, right? And the offer has to be good. We can't just sell any shitty offer. It's like a scam offer. We don't really promote that because I've obviously, like I mentioned, we only handle 3 clients at a time. So we try making these clients like the best we can so we can get the best results for them, so we can obviously promote our offer even more, right? So first thing we do is make sure it's not some random scam. Second thing we do is, can they actually afford the offer and will they even get a benefit? Because some people, this is a huge investment for them and they're going to be penny pinching and everything. So we might not even be able to help them because they're too focused on, getting the best ROI, getting like an initial gratification, right? Because it is a system, right? Like even with ads, there's a cycle. You can't just initially, just right when you start spending money on ads, you don't get money like that. You have to like build up like rapport and everything. I don't know how exactly ads work, but I just know that there is a cycle and it takes a little bit of time before they start to pick up. So that's exactly how YouTube works. That's why our system is 90 days. So it is a bit of a commitment. But honestly, I truly believe that anybody who joins our offer will benefit. That's exactly why we do offer a guarantee. So even anybody who joins our offer and they're like not satisfied or anything, we'll either offer a refund guarantee or we'll offer a work for free until you get that result guarantee. So basically, let's say
With an espresso.
with an with an espresso. I was testing that. We're currently testing a bunch of other things, but I'm glad you did your research, or maybe you saw that somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we'll work for free until you do. The thing about that is some people don't like that because, they want their money back. Like, oh, you're holding my money and everything. I don't know. Some people don't like that, which is a very hard objection thing to close. But we do well in the refund guarantee. The thing is, what we've noticed with the refund guarantee is we're getting clients that are just there because it's free. Like,
Yeah.
you're basically getting client, like they're coming to you. Oh, well, it's free. I literally have nothing to lose. But when we do that work for free until you do guarantee, we're getting serious clients that know, like, hey, this guy's going to get me leads. And regardless on whether I get my money, I'm still going to make a return eventually. Like, let's say we say, I'm going to increase your business by an extra 10%, and they're making $100,000 per month. If I can make them 10 grand per month extra, and there would be no reason why I would offer them a refund guarantee, because now they just wasted their time and they got their money back, sure, but they just wasted their time. Instead, we offer a structure where, yeah, we'll work with you and we'll cover the cost, whatever it costs to, uh, whatever it costs to create that content and everything. We'll cover that until you get that, and we'll fix whatever problem that's stopping you from scaling.
Interesting. So I'm curious, and I'm curious about this next question on a couple of different fronts.
Sure.
In your mind, you've said, hey, you need to have a good offer. How do you define a good offer? I'm curious what your thought process is there.
I actually watch a lot of Alex Hormozi, so that's where I get a lot of inspiration from. But for a good offer, I mainly mean just don't be scammy. Honestly, I think we could do well in any high ticket offer, but as long as there's a need for it, like there's, I think, I don't know what it was, but it's love, money, like those are the main interests people have, like people want and you can sell towards. So I think if you sell within those categories and it's not just some random product, I think, yeah, we genuinely will work with you. Obviously, there are some people we see a better fit towards, like for example, they have a good Instagram, like their Instagram account is optimized and everything, then we will, obviously slide towards, like, that's just being honest, right? We're going to go towards the people we think we can 100% help versus the people we might not be able to, right? There's always a chance, there's always a risk, and I'm going to be honest about that. But that's why we do offer our guarantee.
Yeah. The reason why I think I asked the last two questions is I think you're 100% right that there is a trust recession in the creator economy. But funnily enough, I actually don't think the problem most of the time is on the side of the marketing, which is what you bring, right? The problem is always on the side of the offer, because people are saying, hey, you'll get this result. This is like what we aim towards. People get in. 90% of people, especially when it's in the BizOp ecosystem, 95% of people don't actually like end up getting the result. There's maybe 3 to 5% of people who end up getting the result, but they're likely people who were going to be successful regardless, and they were able to kind of just get in and get some good mentorship or whatever. And that's not, I wouldn't even say that that is a critique of the BizOp ecosystem. I think there's still value in being able to enter something and feel like you're improving your life. And even if you don't end up getting the result, like there's still value to that. That's a bit of a different topic. But I think the question that I wonder on your end is, again, when it comes to cleaning up the trust recession economy, I almost don't think that's necessarily like your job or the job of a marketer. It's the job of the person putting together the offer.
Okay. And yeah, let me ask you this question. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you rather buy a product from? Like for me, this is more realistic towards me because I buy products all the time. I invest in myself a lot. All the money I, buy, all the money I get cash collected, I invest into mentorships and everything just to cover basic expenses and, mentorships. So who would you rather buy from? A guy who just showed up on your ad feed, or a guy you clicked on their video that you've watched maybe 4 or 5 hours of their content, and then they launch a product? Because I've seen your offer, right? Anti-profit, right? I saw you launched a community. I'm sure you did really well because people actually watched hours of your content, and if you were just an ad, I'm sure it wouldn't have converted as well as someone who's like, they built trust with you, right? There's probably people who watched your content for months, and now they're like, wow, this guy actually launched an offer. Like, I think it was $1,000 a month, right? If I'm correct?
No, it was the first one that I did was 2,500 flat, and then the other one was $100 a month. And to be clear, I totally agree with you. If you're watching someone for 7 hours, you're likely to convert on the back end much more than if you just come across an ad. If you do see an ad, that ad's going to have to take you to a landing page. It's going to have to put you into a newsletter. It's going to have to put you into a free group. Like that, you're still going to get nurtured. But it's at least in my vocabulary of marketing, doing so through video, it comes a lot more natural to me than going the direction of doing the newsletter and the free group and like all that stuff. So I'm totally in agreement with your approach there. I'm curious, for the founder that works with you, how much time do they have to spend each week in order to kind of make sure that they do everything that you need from them in order for this project to go smoothly?
Right. So for each person, it's actually very specialized, like I said, because this isn't like a systemized SOP. And I built it intentionally like that because I saw a gap in the market. I saw that people were just creating the like it was basically slop, but you were putting money into it, right? You were putting a lot of money and investment into it, but you weren't getting the result you wanted. And I just saw that gap and I took advantage where I wanted to just create the best content where we do charge like our prices aren't cheap, right? But we do make the I genuinely do believe that we make one of the best quality content out there in terms of storytelling and just content in general. And um I keep getting distracted.
That's okay. That's okay. If I was to work with you, how much time would I have to spend each week in order to like get done what you needed me to get done?
Yeah. So typically I think we've measured this. It's on average around 3 hours per month. So if you're watching a
Mhm.
movie,
Oh, per month.
honestly,
Wow. Okay.
just don't watch the movie. Don't watch the Netflix movie, and don't watch Endgame, and you're good.
Yeah.
Other than that, we do help
Mhm.
with delivery though, because sometimes like people aren't good on camera. Like I'm sure if you recorded your first video, you're not good on camera. You might stutter and everything, but we do help with the delivery and everything because
Mhm.
we've just taken like notes from other people who had problems in the past and we just implement it into our new system. That's the only thing that is systemized, but otherwise everything is really personalized. So yeah, we
Okay.
offer
Yeah.
coaching and everything for that included.
Nice. And how does the feedback side of things work? If you have a client that's working with you for those 90 days, like how does, if you started to put a piece together, like do they give you some feedback after it goes out, or like do you have several feedback rounds before a piece of content will actually go out? And like, yeah, do you get on calls with these guys to like to figure out, you know?
Let me say this: the content, we don't honestly go through much feedback because the content is good itself. Like if we were hiring, shitty editors from like third world countries like India and everything, that would probably be a problem. But honestly, we don't really do that. Like, sure, there are some really good editors. I'm not gonna lie. We've hired some good editors. Shout out Mango. He's probably one of the best editors right now in the game. He works for a lot of big people in the space. I know him. I've talked to him in the past. But there are some really good editors from India and everything. But we don't
Mhm.
personally go down that route because we're focusing on just the best quality. So the clients usually they're just looking for leads. They're not actually looking for like, the content itself. They're focusing on how many leads they're getting and they're tracking KPIs. That's really what they're focused on. And the feedback loop, it usually just goes through me and I just
Yeah.
make sure the editor has everything right. It's
Mhm.
not a huge team. I'm gonna be honest, like it's a very small team. We handle everything very specialized and we try making the best content we can. I
Yeah, that's
use
all good.
I like calling it like weaponized perfectionism. I know a lot of people will say like perfectionism is really bad, but I think honestly, it's just what works for me with our business.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you find that to be the case even on the side of scripting? I imagine that a founder or a coach really wants to make sure that the script that they're reading ultimately kind of sounds like them. Or do
Mhm.
you find that the version one, version two of the script that you present to them is like again pretty much like 100% there?
We actually have that's I was actually talking to you in the DMs about this. I didn't really explain it briefly, but we're actually building some internal tools for this because we've had some issues with that in the past and we noticed that hey, maybe they want like this tonality thing. So I've talked to a few people in the past. Shout out Luke Alexander. I've been in his live streams. He's been helping me a lot with that.
We were
Um,
just reacting to his tweet like right before you came on. So it's
really,
funny
which
you
one?
mentioned Luke. He was talking about one about how everyone is optimizing for virality rather than like actual like sales knowledge. It was just one that he posted yesterday.
He is goaded. Like honestly, with AI, if I'm building that software on my own right now, like I'm bootstrapping it and everything. Holy shit! The amount of value he offers for complete free. Like I didn't even join whatever his group is. Join whatever you can. Personally, I'm not gonna be buying it, at least not anytime soon. But dude, he provides an insane amount of value. We have some internal tools right now we're building. I spent around the last two months building it actually. So
Mhm.
we've been like locked in building that. That's exactly why we haven't been taking on really any new clients. So we've just been working these tools and we're trying to build something that actually makes the resemblance crazy, like clear. Like for example, let's say you have content in the past, right? we basically copy that content and we feed it through something, and we extract whatever brand / tonality you speak in on average, and then we use that with the newer scripts basically. So it does work with it works better with people who have let's say content in the past. So let's say you have tweets, right? We try to extract. The issue we've had with this is that tweets are not how you actually speak in real life, but we try to extract as much as we can from those tweets and build some kind of personality. So let's say we build something from those tweets, we scrape those tweets, and then we call it like anti-profit voice bias, and then we feed the scripts through that, and it would basically resemble your scripts. That's exactly what we've been building for like the last couple of months. Well, I've been building mostly solo.
Yeah. So question on that then, in regards to, let's say, the 3 hours of content you're talking about per month that your clients would have to do, how fast would the turnaround be from them giving you that piece of content basically to what they're looking for of actually, or from what you've seen thus far, from them starting to get the leads coming in?
Do you have them batch all of the content at the beginning of the month, or do you have them?
I was going to say that. Yeah. We batch the content. That's why it is a 90-day system. So we batch the content, we get it all done. Usually we can get the recording done within the first week if they can record it at least.
For all 3 months?
No, so the recording, yeah.
But like, sorry, when they sign up for the 90 days, they sit down and record all 90 days worth of content inside of that first week, or do you have them batch it per month?
Per month. I'm sorry about
that.
Got
it. Okay, got it. Yeah.
So 3 hours per month, so you're on average like 9 hours. If you're good with it, you'll spend less time, obviously. So yeah, I think it's 3 hours per month. You'll just get it done within the first week, and then you're chilling. After that, it's fully done for you. It's really simple.
Cool. And are you all focused on like talking heads? Are you doing some vlogs? Are you doing like pods? Like, is it all? I assume it's all talking head, but let me know if I'm incorrect there.
Yeah. So it is indeed talking head, because that's really the revenue generator at the moment. I know vlogs do, like, there is a way to get vlogs to make a bunch of money with it. Like, I know Daniel Dallin has EconFlow, and he does get some traffic towards EconFlow with that, but I'm just not sure about it too much. I've just focused on talking head at the moment. Maybe we'll do it in the future.
Yeah, cool. And again, I think the next question for me here is, do you set up the funnel as well? How far into the funnel are you doing? Are you just focusing on content? Like what are the services that you provide on that front, if any?
So for the funnel, okay, so it really depends on the client, because some clients they'll have testimonials, they'll have everything there, and usually we won't take any clients that don't have any proof of concept, because we can't just build you proof, right? Like, I mean, we can build you like trust, but there's a difference, because the offers, like, it's not going to sell as well if you don't have any sort of video testimonial or anything. So if you don't have like some sort of video testimonial, we sometimes won't work with you. But it really depends, because this depends on if you're selling coaching, which we're trying to move a little bit away from, and we're trying to scale towards like as a bigger operation. So we're trying to get software people into there as well, like SaaS, B2B SaaS.
Really quick, not to interrupt you, I'm curious why you're wanting to move away from info into SaaS. What are your goals there?
All right, so I'm gonna be honest, coaches, as much as they like flex how much money they have, they really don't have as much as
true my man. That's the answer we're looking for. Okay, cool.
Like, I know I've worked with them personally. Like, they'll say no to like a $3,000 offer, but
yeah, they're all fucking broke.
They flex, the Lambos and everything. And like, there's no point on working with those people. They're grifters sometimes, and it's just a big hassle. And sometimes they'll do chargebacks. So software people, we've seen that they're honestly more honest. I mean, some people will say, oh, we're doing $1 million ARR, but then they're just making like, I don't know, a few dollars. Like, let's say they make $30 or like $1,000 in one day. Then they're gonna say they made like what, $30,000,
12,000 ARR.
Yeah, exactly. They'll just make up something, but it's not actually accurate because it's never happened before. You're just making it up. So yeah, but honestly, I feel like B2B SaaS is the way to go. You've seen Hormozi, you've seen Iman Gaji, WAP, School. I'm pretty sure Charlie Morgan, he has his own B2B. He has a B2B SaaS software and AI now. It's all moving towards software, and I'm trying to like be a step ahead of the curve and just get there before everybody else does. That's all.
Yeah, I think this was the point that I was really getting at a little bit earlier. And I think we were kind of talking past each other a little bit, because the trust recession in the creator economy is not the marketer's fault. It is not like your fault. It is the fault of the person who has the offer on the back end, because most of what people sell is bullshit. And the clients that enter that end up realizing it, and they don't want to buy more courses in the future, which ends up putting you in a situation where the guys that you're going after in the info economy don't have fucking money, even though their entire business model is flexing like they have money when they don't. Exactly. So I think the idea of going in the direction of SaaS software, that kind of thing, is a much stronger play. I think these guys need YouTube lead generation just as much as the info product guys. But most of the time, they have real businesses with real predictable MRR. They are able to know the math on their churn, understanding like, okay, this is like how much we could potentially spend on Samir. Does the math make sense or not? So I'm sorry, man. I keep asking like follow-up questions. I apologize.
Yeah, go.
The follow-up question that I have for you,
your lane anyways.
Yeah. The follow-up question that I have for you is you mentioned at the beginning of the conversation that you're having some issues kind of going in the SaaS direction. What are some of the things that you're running into?
Well, it's client acquisition. The issue with is for coaches and consultants, sometimes for outreach, we'll give them, a free script sometimes, be like, hey, if you record this and everything, will help you out and everything. We stopped going towards that because that is, very time consuming for making a script, recording the video, everything. They might not even do it on time because it's not a commitment, right? They're not getting any sort of commitment with it. Once you pay the price, you're like, oh, I'm committed now. But if someone just hands you a script, you're not committed at all. You might record it next week, next Tuesday, right? So that's the issue with that. We're trying to get clients through SaaS. The main issue is just client acquisition. We are struggling to get SaaS people, or we don't know how to specifically get them really, because this is a completely different field from what I used to work with. But we do believe, so I keep saying we because I used to work with a bunch of people back then, but now
that's okay.
Yeah. So by we, I mean I truly do believe we could just apply the same systems that we've done with coaching and apply it to SaaS, because I feel like YouTube is an algorithm, and if you just know your way around the algorithm, you will go, not viral, but you will target your audience. I hate the word viral because people think if you just go viral, you'll make $1 million. It's nothing like that. That's why I said top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, right? It's a system. Bottom of funnel can make hundreds of thousands of dollars and only get a couple thousand views. It's exactly how you build the system, and it's not just how many views you get. So I don't really like measuring views per dollar, because your bottom of funnel content is obviously going to be fucking printing, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here, but
all right, go for it. You're good.
All right, it's going to be fucking printing, right? Bottom of funnel, few thousand views, you're going to make a shit ton of money, but the top of funnel is just going to be the traffic converter. So yeah, that's the main issue right now. We're just having client acquisition problems.
Yeah, I'm curious. Have you watched much of Ty Frankel's content on X? Have you come across his stuff?
Does he do LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, actually, he's all over my feed for some reason. I don't know.
It's because it's exactly what it sounds like you need. The way, like, I've started using that thing. I think his program is like $300 a month. It's like nothing. But having used that on LinkedIn, it's basically just cold DM prospecting on LinkedIn, which sounds soul crushing, and it kind of is. But the crazy thing is, by using that, my response rate to the people that I message on there is like in the realm of 55%. Like, it's insane how many people are like getting back to me. Yeah. And I'm like, the thing that I'm closing on right now is booking guests for this podcast. Before that, I was sending things to the offer that I was promoting. But in both cases, the response rate at the beginning was still 55% across.
Have you done sorry to cut you off. Have you done any high ticket offers or no?
Yeah. So the last thing that I did was an offer that was in the realm of like 20K. So it's working. So I really highly recommend. I've spoken to Ty a couple of times. Great guy. The program is super, super short. You'll bust through it probably within like 2 or 3 hours, but it'll give you everything that you need. If LinkedIn cold DM is something that you guys want to
I actually want to get into that. You're really good at networking, I'd like to say. It seems like you know everybody in the space. So, I know this is a little bit of an interview about me, but I'd actually like to know a little bit about you, because you don't really talk about this in Anti-Profit, and I'm surprised you haven't been posting much on YouTube. So that's why I'm wondering, like, if I was a prospect of yours, I want to know a little bit about you, right? Like, there's no content about you, long form. So honestly, like, tell me a little bit about you before, like, I can talk about myself.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Connor and I are putting together this new program because we want to talk to as many people in the space as possible. This is specifically going to be a show for young VC funded tech founders.
I just noticed. Sorry, Connor. I was kind of like going towards.
No, it's cool. Fanboy a little bit. I mean, like,
that was okay.
It's cool. Go for it.
Yeah. No, so we're building this in order to kind of reach that ICP of young VC funded tech founders. And I think in a lot of ways, I've told Connor this a couple of times over the last couple of days, or last couple of weeks, I guess. Is the last year I really, really just banged my head against a wall trying like a million different offers. And I think it was very, very useful for me because previous to that, I was always working on offers either of my own or of someone else's, where it was just, if you had the eyeballs in front of the brand, you were able to sell pretty much anything to anyone.
Gotcha. Yeah.
However, back in 2024, that started to not be the case because the market became significantly more sophisticated. It became much more. There was a trust recession, and again, it's
a face reveal.
Not really. The reason I did the face reveal is because I wanted, like, for example, if I was cold DMing someone on Instagram, my response rate was literally like below 10% because I was wearing a mask. Damn. And the one really strong asset that I knew that I had is if I was trying to reach someone on LinkedIn and I couldn't do it and they had an Instagram, I could go over on Instagram, have a bunch of content, have 500,000 followers or whatever I'm at this point. And reach out with a face. And literally the moment I did that, again, the response rate was above 50%. So that was the reason that I ended up getting rid of it over there.
Okay. Now, with the connections, are you just able to just DM anybody and you just build connections through that? Because that's one of my main problems. Like, when you DM'd me and you said towards the end of the podcast, like, recommend a few people, I didn't have anyone to recommend. Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't have anybody to recommend because I don't build connections like that. And that's probably one of my biggest flaws. Like, I can handle the fulfillment, but I am just the worst at making friends. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like,
same.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, no, Connor can attest to this. When I first started talking to Connor at the gym, actually about a year ago, I would I couldn't make eye contact with him. Like, I would be like kind of
like, he was this really socially awkward guy, just like lurking around.
Okay. Exactly. So when it comes to networking, again, I really cannot tell you how useful the Ty Frankel stuff was, at least when it comes to digital networking, right? In-person networking is a very different thing. I think that has more to do with, getting, at least for me, it was getting myself to a place where I just genuinely liked myself, which I'm not kidding you, took like 6 years to do. I just originally was kind of in a weird place just because I had a lot of like life changes and that kind of thing. And I'm just recently, just based on like just continually trying to work at it every day, getting to a place where I'm just like, I'm pretty cool with myself, pretty happy with myself. And as a result, I think doing the networking that we're doing now for this thing, had I tried to do this a couple of months ago, it would have been really, really draining. And if someone would have said no to the podcast or something, it would have affected me a lot differently than it does now. Because again, if someone says no to the pod or whatever, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, that's great. If someone doesn't get back to me with a DM, it's not an emotional thing. And again, I think this is a combination of just some of the personal internal work that I've been doing over the last couple of years, as well as, honestly, again, I keep getting back to it, but that Ty Frankel thing is just phenomenal. It gets you out of like any sort of like a negative emotion that you might encounter when you're DMing people. It just becomes a piece of data. It's really, really good. So if you're looking to kind of at least digitally network what it is that you're trying to do, that I cannot recommend it any higher than that.
Wow. He should really give you an affiliate code. I'm not going to be.
Yeah, he should. Come on, Ty. Hit a brother up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the main issue we've had is client acquisition, and the reason why I think is just I obviously the issue is perfectionism, where I'll try to like make each outreach the best it can, and I'll try giving the most value and everything. And I've had to slowly break out of that loop, because when I was basically like, it started when I first started trying to make money online, which I'll get into right now since we might as well. So I started trying to make money when I was around 12 years old, I think. So I started with selling books, and that transitioned into drop shipping. As everybody knows, everybody had that era, I feel like, where they tried doing drop shipping a little. Maybe not you guys, because you guys are more a little established, but anybody who heard about money, they were like, oh wow, drop shipping is that. I watched a few Jordan Welch videos and everything. Iman Gadzhi didn't do much with it, but Sebastian Georgiou, and I was fascinated with making money online. So I ran it was called Pocket Medicine. I'm pretty sure it's still active. You could search up Pocket Medicine, and this was years ago though. I'm not sure if they deleted it, but I used to sell these, like it was a like a case that would hold your medicine, so you could walk around with it or anything in case you needed to take like an Advil or something. So I sold that and I made around $40, and I lost $100 total. So obviously not the best route. I noticed drop shipping wasn't for me. Maybe if I pursued it longer, I feel like if I pursue anything long enough, I will get it. But maybe if I pursued it longer, I would be making like 200K a month or something, like everybody shows on Twitter. But yeah, it didn't work for me. I basically gave up at that point. I was still selling books, and I was like, I think 14 years old. And me and my family, basically, we saved up for my dad, he saved up for a vacation. And this was a vacation that was very special, because we don't go on vacations a lot. Now, I'm not trying to say like we were poor. We're definitely not. We're middle class and everything. But we saved up for this vacation, and I could just see the heartbreak in his eyes, because I was obsessed with this computer. It wasn't new, but it was a refurbished MacBook that I got for $200 that he bought me. And I was just obsessed with it. And I wasn't actually going outside at all. Like, you know how during vacations and everything, you're supposed to go to these tourist places, the Burj Khalifa. I was doing none of that. I was being the worst person you could bring to a vacation ever. I was a little kid locked in my bedroom, not bedroom, but the vacation hotel beds. I was locked up in there, and I was just not moving. I would constantly just get into arguments with my parents, just be like, no, I'm gonna get there, right? I don't know how I'm gonna make money, but I'm gonna make money. So I cracked Photoshop. Obviously, I pirated it. Don't sue me, Adobe, but I obviously cracked it because I didn't have the money for it, and I was a little kid back then. So I cracked it, and I don't know how I did it. Honestly, it just appeared on my MacBook somehow. It was a $200 MacBook. $200 MacBook. I don't know where
some spyware rolled in.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised they handled it, because that MacBook, it was passed down for generations. It was, I think, from 2014. So, and back, it was like a few years. It's been a few years, right? So, eventually, it took me, I think, 6 months, and I tried telling my dad, like, hey, I have this mentorship. It's only $20 this guy is selling, which is a red flag kind of, but I don't know. Mentorships were kind of cheap back then for some reason. So I paid it was like $20 for the first month, and then you pay $40 for the next. I'm like, wow, this is such a cheap course. I want to buy it. And my dad would just, dude, I'm going to be honest. Like, my dad was my D1 hater back then. Like, he hated everything about online business. Thank God he's not here right now. But
I'm curious, what does he think about now?
I mean, I think that's the paradigm for a lot of people. I think, like, for me as well, if I think about my stepdad, in the sense he'd been in the finance game for a very long time. I remember showing him Bitcoin back when it was $400, wow. And he was like, "No, screw that." He's like, "Don't touch that. That's no bueno." And I was like, I listened to him for a little bit,
yeah.
And then it pumped to $1,200, and I was like, I got to listen to myself and do my own thing. And I think that's pretty much, like what you're talking about there is most entrepreneurs, most people who are needing to be founders or create some kind of control in their own life. They need to go their own path. And
yeah. What does your dad think about what it is that you do now? Has he come around?
I mean, I'll get into it, but it's a little personal, but I'll get into it anyways because I do want to see this. Like, this is I'm trying to be as honest as I can on this interview, so I can look back in 10 years and be like, wow, this is what I thought. This is what little me thought when I was, and now I have this company, right? So yeah, my dad initially he was. I'm gonna be honest, like he was. Dude, he was evil, bro. Like he was laughing at my shit. Like I was making these designs and he was like, "Oh, you're painting some guy's pants or something," because I was painting it a different color because you know how you change colors for shirts and everything. I was changing this guy's pants color and he was just like, bro, he was making fun of me, bro. And I was just like, I don't know. I just like I was taking it, but like I was not happy where I was. I didn't know if I was doing the right decision because I was still a naive kid, right? And he was saying I was naive, and my mom's very just what do you call it? Someone who doesn't really do anything, like peaceful. I don't know.
Passive.
Passive, yeah.
She
She's
won't.
very
She
passive.
won't
So
step in.
my mom, she was fine. She's like, you can do whatever you want. That's fine. But my dad, bro, he was on my ass. I was a little kid too. So he was like, you're not going to make money online. There's no way you can make like making money online. Yo, what's that? There's no such thing as that. So yeah, eventually I did make my first dollar, but I did not make it on the vacation. So I had a grueling, I think it took me 5 months to make my first dollar online. And it was for $15. And then the guy asked for so many revisions, bro. I swear to God.
That happens, man.
Why?
That happens with the first client.
I don't work with cheap clients anymore. Like I worked for $15 for this thumbnail. Oh my God. I worked over, I think, 2 days. Like,
Yeah.
yo, this was the worst thing that could
actually
ever
kind of
happen
funny.
to a new designer. Like someone who has a passion for design, you just broke their dreams, bro. Like I still did it because I had so much fun making it. It was my summer vacation, right? I spent my entire summer doing it. So I was just like, okay, $15, whatever. I was still extremely happy because for a kid, $15, like, yo, that's a lot of money. So
Yeah.
$15, and then eventually I scaled to like what, $40 a thumbnail. Eventually I was making like a good salary, like not a good salary, but like not a US salary because you know it's pretty high up here. But I was making good amount of money. I was known by everybody in the thumbnail community, and I'm actually gonna get into that because did you see who follows me, by the way?
No.
Okay, well, I'll get into that. And I was making a good amount of money. My dad was like, "Okay, well, you made like, I don't know, $200 in one day. That's crazy, right?" He's like, "Okay, now I believe in you now, son." Like, okay, I'm gonna be honest, my dad had the craziest switch up in the world. Like, he was like, "Okay, well, I see the money in my account, so, you know, you can keep doing it." He never took a dollar from me, which I do appreciate. He never like, you know, tried to steal anything. He always was very nice about it. He always gave me my money, which I'm very happy for, fortunate because some people I know they would probably ask for money. Like some dads would be like, I need rent money or something. Thankfully, my dad didn't do that, but he always gave me my money through PayPal. Like he handed me cash, and
Yeah, my dad throughout my childhood would always tell me like, oh, like do your chores and I'll pay you. I think like to this day, my dad probably owes me somewhere in the realm of like $880.
Oh, okay. No, I was about to say,
outstanding.
But never mind, he didn't pay you. I didn't.
Yeah, no, he didn't pay.
Okay. Well, eventually he started saying like, wow, you're making like $200 in one day and you're like what, 14 years old? And I'm like, yeah, okay. I was so happy because my dad was finally accepting. And then school started and oh my God. Well, no, this was actually before school started. I was sleeping one night and I made this thumbnail. It was about Feastables. It was actually, I don't post a lot on Twitter. So if you just scroll a few posts, you can see the exact post that got me it. I posted this tweet about Feastables. I was commissioned for it. I made like, I don't know, $100 on it for 2 thumbnails, A to B testing. And basically I was like, I wake up the next night, I just see my Discord ping go like crazy. Like I was getting like 200 pings on Discord on the thumbnail server I was in because I was a heavy like Discord person because like that was how I was making money, right? People were commissioning me through Discord. So I made, I think, $100 or like something around there. And I just see my Discord ping go like crazy. I check the chats, dude. And they're like, yo, something about like Samir. Everybody's tagging me. I don't even know what's happening. And then I check my Twitter. I gained like 300 followers in like one day. I'm just wondering what the hell happened. Like for me, that's a lot. That's like double my followers. Mm-hmm. So what the hell just happened? And then I check and it's Mr. Beast. And he's in my DMs. I'm like, I can show you the DM, by the way. But Mr. Beast, like his account, his official account, followed me, and you could check it too. dude, he's in my DMs. I'm like, what the I instantly reply, I fanboy like crazy, right? I'm like, hey, congrats on your wedding, all this bullshit, right? Oh my god. Dude, 14-year-old, 15, I think I was 15 by then. 15-year-old me was so cringy. Bro, I would say the worst DMs. Like, I was trying to get to know the guy over the DMs, and like, he did not want to talk like that. Like, he did not care. I'm gonna be honest. He was just trying to get to know something because the thumbnail was derogatory, kind of, not like racially, but like it was like it was painted to kind of make him bad. It was this era where everybody was hating on Mr. Beast, right? Like a dog and all those guys, right? So I made this thumbnail because a guy told me to, because he was also hating on Mr. Beast and he made a thumbnail for him. And Mr. Beast was like, "What's this about?" I had the DMs and everything. I actually talked to him for a while, through like a few weeks actually. And
I'm curious, not to interrupt you. How old are you now?
I think we should get into that later. You'd be surprised. Yeah.
That's gated information.
Yeah, gated information.
I mean,
classified.
I'm young.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all you have to know. You can tell by the braces. Yeah. So Mr. Beast, he DM'd me, and yeah, honestly, that's the reason why I've been able to just get clients. Honestly, I feel like a complete retard. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that either. I feel like a complete retard compared to all these business guys, because they're years ahead of me, and I've only been in the space for like, I've religiously just studied YouTube. I didn't study anything except YouTube, so I just know YouTube. That's all I know. I don't know how to actually like keep client churn, but I practice it. I've had to learn it through other people. Thank God I've had like 1 or 2 people that have helped me. Those are the main people that have helped me, but they're usually just people I'll sometimes reach out to because I'm like in dire need. Like, dude, if I don't get this message, I'm actually like about to go like bankrupt, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exactly how I built my business. And honestly, it's mostly luck. I think anybody's business is like that, but mine was extremely luckful, I guess. I didn't expect the DM from Mr. Beast, and I actually made, I don't know why, it's just like some kind of butterfly effect. The second I got that Mr. Beast DM, I got so many clients, and I just shut down thumbnail design as a service. I learned everything there is basically to make a good thumbnail. And I was like, I learned the psychology. I watched these hour-long podcast interviews of just how to make good thumbnails. And that just taught me, it rewired my brain to think, hey, what actually makes a good video? Like, what makes a video good for top of funnel content? Because a lot of people struggle with that. They don't know how to make a video that actually goes viral, which I'll actually get into because we worked with a few creators who have gone viral through it. But that's exactly how I figured out YouTube in the first place. I would say anybody who's trying to learn YouTube and they can't afford me as a person, like for my services, or they don't fit the criteria, dude, just go watch a few interviews, go study YouTube, go look at why Outliers performed, see exactly why it was titled that way. And then once you see those titles, try finding a way to get that title into the, what's it called? Where you put the title into the search bar. Once you put it into the search bar, if you see it's consistent and it's been recent, then just copy it, okay? I mean, a lot of people say copying is bad, but at first you need to copy because you don't know what actually works. So that's exactly how you get the data in the first place. So if you're trying to learn YouTube and you're trying to become like some strategist, which I worked as, just relentlessly study YouTube. But look at Outliers. I used to have mirror boards, just dozens of just YouTube videos that were outliers and similar videos that, let's say it was, I tested 100 things. I tested the deadliest things across Amazon or something. And I would see that I tested the deadliest things across eBay, and I would see, oh, it's a consistent outlier. So of course it's the deadliest things. So I would just take that and then, I would just roll with it with another thing. But there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people will say copying is bad, but if it works, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, 100%. Well, dude, here's the thing. At the end of the day, like you just said, like, most of it was luck or whatever, but at the, especially for like where you are in life, even though that's classified information.
I know what I'll say here right now. I'm 16 years old.
That's awesome, dude. That's super great. Here's the thing that I would say here. You're right. Life is a significant amount of luck, but luck happens, and it's about what it is that we have with our character when the luck comes across and what it is that we're able to tap into and what type of work ethic that we're able to put towards. So we're at the end of our time here. However, the question that I want to finish off by asking you, because again, is the fact that where you are in life and the way that you're approaching all of this, and the fact that like you're just doing stuff that like most like 16-year-olds aren't, right? Like, what is the thing that you brought along with luck that you would encourage the other people, either your age or other people as entrepreneurs, that they need to tap into in order to make sure that they're ready for when luck comes along? What's the main character attribute?
Relentlessness. I feel like when I was little, I always just thought of how could I crack this system, or how could I find loopholes around the system? So it's really just innate curiosity, right? If I want something, I will figure out 100 different ways to get it, and then I'll try whatever I can, like that fits me to get that solution. And I just won't quit. Like, I will quit sometimes, and then next minute I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's get back to this, right? Like some people believe in burnout, which I do think is true. But if you truly desire something so much, it hurts in your heart. Because for me, it was basically just my parents were yelling at me like, yo, like, get off the laptop, bro. You're playing little games that aren't going to help you make money. Like, bro, I had stress. Like, I probably aged like 10 years with the stress off my life because I was just so depressed. I hated it, right? I hated the situation I was in. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations and you will become just a stronger man in general. Like, I'm not a manly man, right? But I just figured out, like, my mindset has completely changed compared to most 16-year-olds who are, they're fine, they're comfortable. I always put myself in uncomfortable situations. If I see something that looks new, or like not like something that's completely outside my expertise, I'll go chase that thing. Like, it sounds fun to me. It's the innate curiosity that you're born with. And sometimes it also develops as, it's the environment you're in as well. But I would always tell people, just be curious. Why the hell does this not work? Why, like, what's causing people to not make money, and how can I fix this solution? Because I suggest everybody to learn a skill. So anybody who's watching this, if you're new, just learn a skill. Any skill is any skill, like coding, even coding. Actually, coding is kind of, well, let's say coding, right? Even if you learn coding, you can make some money with that, right?
This is exactly how I feel about coding right now. Like, what you literally just said is exactly how I feel about coding.
Regardless, bro, like, if you get good at coding, you're gonna make money. Like, even if AI is gonna take over and everything, like, it's set for a couple years now, but eventually you will make money with it. It doesn't matter. Like, I can guarantee you'll make money with it. Or
love it.
Yeah, that's my last message. I'm really bad at ending these, so I'll leave it.
No, that was great. That was great. Relentlessness and curiosity. If you bring those two things, luck is going to be a perfect pairing with the three. Dude, Samir, this has been a lot of fun, man. It's really, really cool to see how you're approaching business, how you're approaching YouTube, and that you're jumping into SaaS instead of info. I think you're going to have a much better time doing that. I think you're going to be a lot more successful, and you're going to have a lot better clients. So thanks for hopping on, man. That was it was a real pleasure to have you on. And check out Ty Frankel. Ty, give me an affiliate link. This shit is long past due.
Yeah, likewise, man. Honestly, I appreciate you taking your time. I'm just last question real quick for LinkedIn. Would you suggest that I just moved to LinkedIn? Because I haven't built anything on LinkedIn, but I have built a little bit on Twitter, right? I have like a medium-sized following. So do you think I should just leverage that following, or should I just go to LinkedIn and just start booking calls? And I'm just curious about, what was your data on that? You said you sold a 20K deal, right?
Yeah, I would focus entirely on LinkedIn based on what it is that you're doing. I like continue posting on X, but like even with X, they have released that, if you're posting more than 2 times a day, you are getting limited reach on everything that comes out after that. So yeah, Nikita just posted the new algorithm for X that's worth maybe going and taking a look at. But just I would honestly go all in on LinkedIn. Get Sales Navigator that would cost you like $120 a month. That's 100% the direction that you should be going if you're focusing on SaaS.
Yeah, for your own client acquisition, that's probably the place to be. Rather than
any other tips for client acquisition, honestly, I would appreciate any of them. Right now, that's the main struggle.
I think you'll be surprised at how strong of an approach cold DM is. I didn't believe it beforehand because my background is mass marketing, getting hundreds of thousands of views on something in order to like be able to like drive people to my DMs, warm them up with the sales team, get them on a call, blah blah blah. Dude, this cold DM stuff is like magic, and that isn't me like trying to be like lazy to like end the call, but like you do that, bro, you're gonna be in a completely different ballgame.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
In all honesty,
And-
to like kind of compound on that from my own experience, like 10 or so years ago, there was a point in time where one of the first, if affiliate offers basically I was working with a few, and we went the cold DM route basically for getting clientele. And it was probably within the first like 60 to 90 days of this cold outreach that we did, that we hit a point where actually like we shouldn't have taken our foot off the gas, but we did after that after that point, kind of pull out of it a little bit because the revenue started coming in. And honestly, it was probably the 3 years following that where I had continual revenue coming in that was based off the first 60 to 90 days of that outreach.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Gotcha. Okay. And you guys didn't do any looms with that? You just sent a cold DM?
Yeah, dude, just do cold DM. If you get later into the conversation where they're like interested, then you can be like, okay, great. Yeah, let me throw a loom your way or whatever, but have them like specifically ask for it. Because if I'm anti-profit, like on my channel, and someone just sends me a loom, the way that I conceptualize that is that they have enough time to send me and everyone else that they just reached out to with a loom, which is an indication to me that they're not doing a lot of client work, because like they wouldn't have the time to just do a loom over and over and over again for all of these prospects if they were like drowning in business. So it's almost like this negative signal that you don't want to send to a person. Instead, go in. It's sort of like Tinder to a certain degree, like texting with a girl. You want to show them that you're interested, but not too interested. Again, it's sort of in that dynamic. So use the loom, but use it a little bit later on in the conversation once they have established interest with you.
Okay. I gotcha. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, Connor. Oh, wait, just to make sure, are you married by chance? Or is that a different
Me.
Instagram channel? Yeah.
I am. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't want to be any person get personal, but I just saw you're having a child soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
congrats
Yeah.
on the early
Thank you.
child. So yeah, I'm really bad at ending, so you guys can leave it, and I'll just hang out for
All right. Awesome. Well,
Perfect.
Samir,
Lovely
thanks
having
so
a
much,
chat.
man. You have a great night on the East Coast, and we'll stay in touch.
Have a nice day, bro. You both
All right.
Take care.
Talk
man.
to you later.
take care.
All righty. Cool. Well,
Cool.
that was today's cast.
Yep.
We will catch you guys on Tuesday. Take care.